Mr. Gilbert, Donald Gilbert. Can I call you Don? Gil? Listen, Donald. He said, I'm speaking to my audience as if the NBA is not fixed. Then you went on to say that the players are chosen by the NBA and, you know, so and so. He said more after that. They're chosen by the NBA and they choose where they're going to go. And I'm like, Don, that's, for one, when do I speak as if the NBA is not fixed? That's the first question. You know, I guess you're saying that because you're saying that maybe I might have illustrated that there might have been some choice that the players might have on where to go. And listen, Don, football season is coming up. I'm saying that to say this because, when I talk about fake plays and players who are in on it, I talked about that during football season last year. I was like, listen, not everybody is in on it. And I truly believe that. I truly believe Julio Jones was not in on the fix. And his team lost. He played like he had no idea that the game was fixed. You know what I'm saying? Against him. I believe not everybody, in the NBA knows that the game is fixed against them. Okay? Now, there has been reports of players on both the NBA and in the NFL saying that the games are fixed. And of course, Tim Doherty, the referee. Now, Donald, I don't speak to my audience as if the game isn't fixed. I tell them all the time the NBA is fixed. Matter of fact, that's why most of the people come to my channel. I've had 100 subscribers within the last 20 or something days because they not only want to know that is fixed, but they realize that is fixed. And then they're listening to people like myself and other people saying, okay, how is it fixed? Show me the inside scoop. Or show me your side of things, because I don't really know the inside scoop. I just tell you my version of what I think is happening. But I don't, if you guys are misled by anything I'm saying, thinking that the NBA isn't fixed, well, that's just, I don't even know where you got that from, Donald. Like, I'm trying to go back and think in any of my videos, especially the ones I've made within the last week, and thinking, how am I misleading my audience? And making them think that I'm, exhuming some type of reality that the NBA is, A-OK and it's only up and up. There's no fix on it. Just because what? Cleveland lost? I think you went on to talk about Cleveland losing. And how they were supposed to lose. I didn't read all the comments, but I read that one and I was like, let me address you personally. Because that type of comment, I don't erase that type of comments, but I address them immediately or when I can. Because that type of thinking is definitely not what this channel is about. Listen, but I don't try to shove it down somebody's throat. Oh, the NBA is fixed. You should, stay away from it or whatever. No, I tell you, people, watch it. If you're going to have passion about a sport and that's your sport, okay, fine. You might have played it in high school, all the way up to high school, even in college ball. Heck, you might be even looking to get into the pros. Okay, fine, if that's what you're into. But know that there are hands involved in the game that have nothing to do with the players and what the players do, the coaches, the GMs, and all the way up to the owners. Those people are puppets. So I just want to be clear to you, Mr. Gilbert, and to anybody else who read that comment. The NBA is fixed in my eyes. It has been for a long time. And this is why I do not watch it, because it is not a sport that is played on the up and up. Now, I try to look at ways that it is fixed. And as far as the players is concerned, which you mentioned, look. Some of those players are not players, one, at the pinnacle of the game, uh, two, at the pinnacle of the career. It's two different things. And the reason why I mentioned their game and their career is because you can have somebody like a Tracy McGrady who at the pinnacle of his game, he wasn't at the pinnacle of his career. Let's get that out there. Let's get some clarity here. You know what I'm saying? So people think that Tracy McGrady was wasted away. Now this dude was supposed to be at one time as good as Kobe Bryant, and even Kobe Bryant said that. He was like, yeah, Tracy McGrady was that deal. And look at his highlights. He was that deal. But where he was positioned, he wasn't, even though he was playing, with Stephon Marbury at one time. I think he was playing for the Raptors. Played for a couple different teams. But nonetheless, he wasn't positioned to have the ultimate success out of the game. Now, some of those players are positioned by the NBA. Now, if you're talking about that, yes, we both agree. But even some of the players that they're not positioned by the NBA. Some of those players are, when it comes to becoming, like getting into the draft pick, or when they come free agents, when their contracts are up, some of those players are not necessarily manipulated hand and foot by the NBA. Why? Because everybody would see it. Everybody would see it. The marquee players are the ones who you look at. Like I said, it's like a chess game. Those are the ones who you look at, and not all of them, their every move is manipulated. So you're saying, okay, these players are being told what to do from, like, for years ahead of time. Like, oh, okay, so you're saying, okay, so LeBron James was already scheduled. Was he 13th, 14th year? He's scheduled. He's scheduled at 17 years old. Kobe Bryant, 18 years old. KD, 17, 18 years old, and a bunch of other players who came into the NBA right out of high school. These guys are scheduled to play for a certain amount of time. I don't argue with that. But look at those guys' career. Look at the money they made outside of the NBA, or look at the money that the NBA has made on them outside of the NBA. Follow the ad revenues. Not every player is doing these commercials. Not every player has a shoe deal. Not every player has a basketball camp. Not every player gets invited to the White House, even when their team wins a championship. It's like, we just want the players we know. For real. Listen, Golden State won. If the players that nobody knows shows up to the White House, you think it's that big of a deal? But if Steph Curry himself showed up, by himself, do you think that's a bigger deal? Steph and Durant, if they showed up by themselves, just those two, or even individually, who do you think is going to get more fanfare? Huh, Don? What do you think is going to happen? So, listen, I already understand the long term, the short term, and I already understand that. But there's nowhere in my conversation where you can say, oh, you're acting like the NBA isn't fixed. Just because you see the long term, just like I do, it's like, what are you talking about? All right? I'm not even offended. I'm just trying to get some clarity out of you. And don't write me this long, drawn out excerpt of a comment that I can't read in one sitting. You know what I mean? Because I'm going to have a bunch of other people commenting on it. All right? And that's cool. I'm going to have... So get to the point is what I'm going to say. Or make a video and leave me a link. I'll listen to it. It's a conversation. I don't mind. You guys can do that. Look, this is not me on a soapbox, and I'm not listening to nothing nobody else says. That's it's nowhere near the truth. You guys have a video. You want to make a video in response? I'll listen to it, and we can go back and forth. You know, not as, in an argument, but like in a conversation. Hell, we can Skype if you want to. We can Skype and bring up some numbers if you really want to get that busy with it. You know what I'm saying? But don't act like I'm not sitting up here telling you guys that the NBA is not fixed. I'm telling you guys to enjoy yourself. But know that somebody else has their hand in it. It is not all just the NBA. It's not all them, them doing their thing. That's what I'm trying to convince you guys of. And you can believe it if you want to, Don, or you cannot believe it. You can say the old guy don't know what he's talking about. He doesn't even watch the game. And you know what? I'm not going to fight with you about that. I'm going to say, okay, Brother Don, push on. Or stay a subscriber, or you're welcome to your opinion. Because it's not that deep to me. It just isn't. And this is the attitude I want you guys to take about the NBA. It's just not that deep. It ain't. I tell you guys all the time that the game is fixed. It's rigged. It's fixed for money, fixed for ratings. Just like Aisha Curry said, a lot of times the way I look at it, it's not even fixed for the people watching it. They don't got you in mind. All right? You're not the prime audience sometime. Now, how's that ruffle your feathers, Donald? How's that get your goat? You're not even the main dude. You're not even who they're catering to. You know they're catering to? Target. The store. They're catering to Maxwell House. They're more worried about Maxwell House watching what they're doing than they're worried about you. Good to the last drop, Donald. I'm not worried about you. They're catering to Buick, Chevy, Lexus dealers. That's who they're catering to. You know what I'm saying? Rolex. You know what I mean? I'm not catering to you. I'm not catering to me. They don't even need us to watch the game. They don't. They need us to watch the ads. They need us to respond to the ads. And you say, well, how you going to respond to the game if you don't respond to the ads? Okay, let me ask you this. Last game you watched, how many ads did you see? Here's another question. How many ads do you remember? You know what I'm saying? How many do you remember? Now, if you look at a 7-minute segment, okay, here's some facts for you. Since you think I'm up here clowning people and telling them truths that don't transform, here's some facts for you. Let's look at the Nelson ratings. Let's do this. Next time you watch a game on regular TV, this is not cable. This is regular TV. I'll get the cable in a minute. Just regular TV. Watch how many commercial breaks you see within the first half hour. I'm going to tell you, you're going to see commercials in the front. You're going to see commercials about 7.5 minutes in. You're going to see commercials another 7.5 minutes in. Then you're going to see another commercial at the end of that 30 minutes. So you tell me, and then when they run the commercials, you're going to see probably 5 to 10 minutes of commercials. So within 40 minutes, you might get about, shoot, 1, 2, 3, there's usually 3, 4, They try to squeeze them in real quick now, and the commercials are short, but they're so to the point. It's like they're not even a minute now. So there's 30 seconds. So you know, okay, 3 6. So you're gonna get 2, 4, 6. So you're gonna get 6 commercials each time a commercial shows, and sometimes they just flash about maybe 4 of them, and they're real short. And every now and then they'll just give you 2. But on average, you're gonna get in between 10 to 15 commercials on the low end within a half an hour. Okay, Don, you with me? Now, here's why I say they don't really need you to watch it. They just need you to see the commercials. Because they make the commercials more memorable than actually what you saw. And there's so many, when you look at per minute value, the commercials per minute value are almost matching the time span of you watching the game. Okay, so you're watching the game for every 7 minutes. So they're actually breaking up your mental track and of what you're watching. So every 7 minutes, boom, there's a break in your concentration. Every 7 minutes, boom, another break in your concentration. Every 7 minutes, boom, and then they're shoving something in your face. All they need to do is for you to break that concentration. Boom, 1 or 2 times, bam, shove this in your face. Boom, you go out and buy it. And how do I know? Because I used to work in marketing. I tell you guys, I used to work in marketing. I did it for like 15 years. We don't need you to watch a whole show. We don't need you to see a whole of anything. We just need you to see part of it and remember it. And this is why you get so many commercials in a short amount of time. The Nielsen ratings, here's another fact for you. Because the Nielsen ratings are only, the Nielsen ratings is kind of like SoundScan for those of you who are into music. What the Nielsen rating does is it picks up, some of you guys notice, some of you guys don't care, some of you guys want to know. So, okay. So what the Nielsen rating does is every time you turn on something and you look at it for just a few minutes, now if you turn it on and you turn it off, it doesn't count. But if you turn it on, you keep it on from 3 to 5 minutes, then you count. Your household counts as someone who watched this show. This is what they're interested in. They take the Nielsen ratings and say, people in this city, in this neighborhood, on this block, in this household, watch this much of this right here, according to the Nielsen ratings. Even if you did it through cable, because they know who's watching through cable. It's called cable for a reason. You trace it from one place to another. And when they do that, then that's how they pitch their commercials. Why do you think commercials cost millions of dollars when they're putting them on a Super Bowl? Millions of dollars. Because they know the reaction. I'll tell you a case in point where I was doing marketing. Basically, they hired me to walk around with a toilet bowl attached to me like a backpack, but it was a front pack. Well, toilet bowl, and the thing actually flashed. It was crazy, but the liquor would go down into this little thing, and it was all to show. It was all for scrubbing bubbles or one of those toilet bowl cleaner, whatever. So we were running around downtown with that on. This was guerrilla marketing. I was the manager. And guerrilla marketing is basically where they don't have setup, they don't even have permission. They just want you to go and find the most people and get their information out there the best that you can. That's what guerrilla marketing is. But you have to know where to go. So I already knew where to go because I've been doing it for a while. We had downtown. We got 2 people with these big old toilet bowls on. People coming to us and going, what is that? Nonetheless, they see the product. We hand them a bit of information. They don't even have to stop. All they have to do is reach their hand out and take that card from us. When they take that card, eventually they will look at it. That card, that information is a discount card for you to go to your nearest Kroger's and buy this product and get a discount on it. Listen, even if you didn't need it or want it, people would still go and buy it. How do I know? Because a company called me and said, Anthony, we want you to go do the same thing in Kentucky. I was like, why? They said, because according to our numbers, these people went out and bought all this product. See, that's how they get you. You don't even need to watch that stuff. You don't, you don't even need half of the stuff that's on there. So that's what I'm saying, Don. Like when I talk about the NBA is fixed, I get into all of that. I get into all of what TV is doing to you when you're watching it, how it's breaking your attention span. So I just don't know where you get that I'm not acting like it's rigged according to what I talk about the players. Because I talk about the players, I talk about the game within the game, I talk about a lot of that stuff. And I can get even further in it, but I think half of you get bored with listening to it. Because believe it or not, I do cater to you guys. You know what I mean? Because I know you're listening. I may not tell you all of what you want to know, but that's on you. There's millions of people out there who have this information. You know, and they're deep. You got some people who are so deep, I don't even want to listen to them. I don't listen to that one gematria guy. As soon as I hear the word gematria, I'm out. That's it. I'm out. I don't want to hear it. You know, although there could be some truth to it, but it's not my game. Marketing, I understand that. Give me some numbers in marketing, I'll roll with you. When I see fluctuating, when I see fluctuating salaries on a premium player, I can understand that. When I see career-ending injuries, you know, I get skeptical. When I hear so and so raped so and so, raped some girl in the far end of America, where nobody hardly goes to, and she worked in the hotel, and then they found out that she had 5 other different guys who had just been in her within that hour. I just don't buy those stories. I'm just like, wow, don't sound like rape to me. Like the Duke University incident, everybody wanted to castrate those boys. And there was a black woman saying his white boy did it to him. And guess what? I was on the white boy's side. When I heard that story, immediately I was like, something's not right. Immediately. It's like something's not right. That's what I do. I try to look at all ends of things. All right, so, just, you know, now if you got some type of retort, some type of educated retort, put it out there. Make a video. We'll listen to it. I'll put your, I'll make sure I add your link on the next video when I respond to you. And if you want to, video Skype about it, or, not fight about it. I'm not Tatty Manager, the caddy manager. If you want to fight about it, if you want to Skype about it, we can Skype about it. And we could bring up some numbers, buddy. Yeah, we can do it like that. Because the NBA is definitely fixed. And when I start making these videos about the NFL, Donald, I want you to go back and look at my last year's videos about the NFL. Before you jump the gun and start hauling off and saying crazy stuff again. It's your boy Tone 202. God loves you and so do I. I'm out.